Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we spend our time looking at fantasy of all sorts, from books to television to movies to video games, and specifically taking the characters within and applying them in the game Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today, we're going to be having a look at a character from a brand new show, made by the creators of League of Legends and the MOBA universe itself, the character Vi. Specifically, her name is Violet, but she's known as Vi in the show. She is a absolute powerhouse of a character. She was trained from a young age to be a brawler on the streets in the Undercity, and as she grows up, she becomes an absolute monster on the battlefield, which we'll talk about here shortly. Now, Vi is 21 years old, approximately, about 5'5", 150 pounds of solid prison muscle, because she does spend a stint in prison. She's got red hair with white skin and gray, steely eyes that'll just stare right through you. Now, I decided to make her a half-elf. She's a very, very proficient person with a lot of skills, and she certainly has some elven features about her, although she might be missing the pointy ears. She is a little bit more than human at this point, so I felt half-elf was appropriate. Her background is urchin, no surprise there. Her alignment, I made her chaotic neutral. She breaks the rules all the time, and while she doesn't always act on the side of good or evil, she is almost never following the law, so chaotic neutral seemed fitting. As far as her class goes, I made her a champion fighter. Now, that might seem a little odd, since all she ever does is fight, with her fists and with the Hextech Gauntlets, which we'll talk about here shortly. But I felt it was appropriate considering that there was a fighting style added in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything that allows you to be an unarmed fighter. We'll go over that in just a sec. Her stats, she's not the strongest person in the show by any means, naturally, but she certainly is no pushover, and is able to hold her own against much bigger opponents. I gave her a strength of 16. But as far as her agility goes, no questions there. She can run across the rooftops from a very young age, and is incredibly agile and incredibly skilled at dodging things. I gave her a 20 for her dex. Her constitution is 16. She's shown to take numerous hits and just keep on fighting. Not the most educated or intelligent person in the world, doesn't know a whole lot about the world from a book perspective, so I gave her an intelligence of 10. But she's a decent strategist with a wisdom of 14 and an understanding for how people work, charisma of 12. Now, as a champion fighter, she does have a few skills, and as a half-elf, she has a few as well. We'll go over those. Her languages are Common, Elvish, and then she has Thieves' Cant. She has a feature that gives her an extra language that from the half-elf portion. She is proficient in all weapons and armor, although she rarely uses them. And she is proficient in disguise and thieves' tools. Now, she has an AC of 17 because I've given her studded leather armor. I felt like that was appropriate considering her fighting style. A speed of 40, thanks to her natural skill and a feat that she has. She gains dark vision and fey ancestry from her half-elf heritage, as well as the city secrets power from her urchin side. And then as a fighter, she has the unarmed fighting style. Her unarmed strikes are potent. She gets to add her proficiency bonus and her strength modifier to a punch, which has an attack bonus of +8. And then because of her fighting style and the fact that she goes unarmed most of the time, she, in both hands, she gains a 1d8 to hit for damage, +3 for her strength mod. This makes her pretty tough, even going toe-to-toe without a weapon in her hand. She also gains the second wind and action surge powers that the fighter would normally get. And then she gains the improved crit and the superior crit powers, making her crit much easier. When she hits and she means it, it makes a huge impact. She is a level 15 champion fighter, very powerful, and she has triple attack. Well, extra attack, which means that every time she takes the attack action, she attacks 3 times instead of 1. She has the remarkable athlete skill and the indomitable skill, which make her really, really tough as far as resisting things for their strength checks or any other saving throw that she needs to succeed on. She also gains an extra fighting style. I gave her 2 weapon fighting here, because technically her fists, while they don't count as weapons, are able to be dual wielded. She can punch and then punch again. And she also is going to be able to use this with her Hextech Gauntlets. Again, we'll go over those in a sec. I gave her 5 feats. Athlete, mobile, resilient, with the skill in dexterity, skulker, and skill expert. She's a very skilled individual. She has proficiency in athletics, insight, intimidation, perception, sleight of hand, stealth, and then expertise in acrobatics. That's what skill expert gives her. Overall, an incredibly skilled individual in many, many ways. She carries a disguise kit on her so that she can sneak around the city easier, but then we're here for the main event, the Hextech Gauntlets. Now, the Hextech Gauntlets I made in D&D as a +2 pair of punching gloves. She can dual wield these, especially using her 2 weapon fighting style. They are +2 to her attack bonus, and because they're weapons that are magic in nature, they also can be wielded using her dexterity modifier. I decided to give her that. This means that she gets a +12 to hit with these gauntlets. They also do 2d8 damage plus her dexterity modifier plus the +2 from the magic, which gives her a 2d8 +7 per punch, really taking her fisticuffs fighting style and dialing it up to 11. So what can you say? Vi is a tavern brawler that doesn't have the tavern brawler feat. Turns out she didn't need it with the unarmed fighting style. And she's fast, she's athletic, she's acrobatic to an absolutely insane degree. And putting her in, if you took her Hextech Gauntlets away and just put her in as this, like, badass fist fighter, she would be incredible in any campaign as a high-level ally. Using her action surge, using her second wind and her extra attack to just lay down a barrage of powerful punches with a pretty decent AC to boot using her high dexterity. She is a true fighter and one that absolutely deserves her place in D&D. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Keep your eyes open for some more fantasy characters coming soon on this channel. Have a good one, my friends.